Hello everyone, something exciting is afoot. Which foot, you ask? Well, you probably didn't ask that, actually, but nevertheless, afoot it is, because Blizzard have teased the next thing happening in Overwatch, and I would wager it is the next event, most likely the spring event, and what is it going to be? Well, I would bet my bottom dollar on a OMNIC riot/uprising in King's Row, where we have to quell it, we have to sort it out, and it's going to result in a major change and triggering event for the Overwatch world. And maybe a little Doomfisty, but not everything needs to involve Doomfist. But the TLDR is, my prediction is the OMNIC human tension in King's Row has risen to the point where a clash is inevitable, and we are going to have straight violence on the streets, and we're going to have to deal with that. That is happening. And why do I think that is happening? Well, in order to best deal with something that is currently happening, one needs to look at the past for when it happened before, and how that was solved. And lo and behold, what has been teased? A file on the King's Row uprising that happened 7 years ago. Now, this is still a good 10 years after the OMNIC crisis ended, but obviously tensions were still high. You have this mandatory robot registration, not even giving them the name OMNIC, pointing a picture where all three of them look identical, showing them as clone machines, not unique sentient beings. You have them forced to register themselves. I mean, I don't need to tell you the imagery that is on display there. It is not good and would obviously make a people want to rebel against that system. The QR code there goes to nothing as far as I can tell, so that's kind of out the window. And then down here we have ourselves the attacker spawn on King's Row, but in a state that we've not seen it. Presumably this is a screenshot from the past 7 years ago. And then we also have this Tracer skin, yes indeed. Now, we have been teased that this year is going to be a good year for skins, and a old-timey 7 years ago old uniform Tracer skin, a OMNIC Revolution, an OMNIC Rising Tracer skin, that's very cool, because the thing to note is this is an Overwatch mission archives. Back when this King's Row uprising happened 7 years ago, Overwatch was still a thing. This was an official mission. This is something that they dealt with. So if we are going to see more information on April 11th about how actual functioning, non-disbanded Overwatch ran things, how they accomplish this, that is very cool, because right now Overwatch is reforming and stuff, but it's nowhere near the same level it was. So if there is a second King's Row uprising, how are we going to deal with that? And then at the top right, we have ourselves a building on display, and this thing is very much, in my mind, a sort of OMNIC paradise, a sanctuary for them, a project. It's called Turing Green SW0. SW0 is a London postcode, for those of you that don't know, and Turing Green is the Turing test. He is the father of computing, of artificial intelligence. The Turing test to test whether an AI can operate on a level indistinguishable from a human. Hell, he could be in the world of Overwatch, because it is just set in Earth's future, and Turing could be somewhat of a progenitor, a proper, almost deity-like figure to OMNIC, because he started this path towards sentient AI. Either that or it's just a nice little reference, but I think it would be very interesting to see how OMNICs view inherently someone who, out of everyone we know in real history, has contributed most to sentient AI. That's very, very cool. And this building then, it's like an OMNIC Better Future Together, presumably was a project that was going to happen, a planned thing constructed in King's Row that never came to be. Maybe the tensions were so high that when something like this project was announced, the non-OMNIC haters in King's Row just couldn't stand it, and it triggered violence, it triggered riots, it triggered this uprising, and we had the OMNICs clash. Hell, the actual payload on King's Row is an EMP to wipe out all the Omnics in King's Row. There is tensions here, and I think we really are going to get a kind of riot, revolution, uprising event set around King's Row, because what has happened on King's Row? That payload, you know, as I said, but also this is the place that Widowmaker recently, in terms of the world's history, assassinated Mondata. That has obviously got to drive tensions up. Hell, on both sides, it makes them agitated. Recently, King's Row, the map, has been updated. It's got its textures redone. It's been brought up to standard with the other maps, and yes, you know, Blizzard should just do that anyway, but you'd think if a map's going to be heavily involved in an event, they'd want it to be as good as they can make it, right? And on top of that, there is now loads of graffiti and various new stuff on the walls and various protest signs in King's Row that are just from obvious OMNIC haters. You can see it strewn about the place. The hate for them in King's Row has reached palpable levels, almost as much as I hate myself, and that went dark, and I think this all points to one thing. On April 11th, we're going to get something detailing events of the past, the revolution in King's Row, because it's about to happen again, and we're about to deal with it, and that's fucking cool. Maybe I'm completely off here. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Let's have a lovely discussion on this. I like me some lore speculation. But for now, my name has been Rage. I will see you all next time. Goodbye. Also, can we talk about the fact that Lucio can't get a break? He was going to have a concert in Numbani, but Numbani got attacked by Doomfist, so he cancelled and switched it to King's Row, and now King's Row is going to have a riot. I mean, Jesus, take the hint, Lucio. People don't want your music.